A timetable is writing, a notice board is writing, a shopping list is writing, but they are not literature. Then what makes literature different? What makes a piece of writing truly great? What gives literature its beauty and power? Today, let us explore the qualities of literature. Now, let us understand this clearly. Dear students, not everything that is written can be called literature. We write letters, messages, notes, and even social media posts. But all these are not literature. Then what makes a piece of writing literature? The answer is it must have certain special qualities. According to William J. Long, true literature has certain characteristics that distinguish it from ordinary writings. Let us now understand these qualities one by one with simple explanation and real life examples. The first quality is artistic quality. Literature is an art. It is not plain statement. It is not dry information. It is not mechanical language. It is language shaped with imagination, rhythm, beauty, and emotional power. A true writer is like a painter, but instead of colors, the writer uses words. Instead of a brush, the writer uses imagination. For example, Keats does not merely say, "Autumn is beautiful." In To Autumn, he paints autumn like a golden picture. You can almost see the fields, fruits, sunshine, and softness of the season. Shakespeare too is highly artistic. His language is not ordinary conversation. It is rich, dramatic, musical, and memorable. Think about a teacher explaining rain. Teacher says, "Rain is water falling from clouds." Poet says, "The sky opened its heart and the earth smiled in silence." Both talk about rain, but the second one is artistic. That artistic arrangement of words is one great quality of literature. The second quality, literature expresses ideas beautifully. Beauty in literature comes through selection of words, rhythm, imagery, emotion, and style. A literary work gives pleasure not only because of what it says, but because of the way it says it. Example, Keats says, "A thing of beauty is a joy forever." This line is remembered forever because it is beautiful in expression and meaningful in idea. Sometimes grandmother tells a simple moral story in such a beautiful way that children never forget it. Why do they not forget? Because beautiful expression touches memory. So beauty of expression is a major quality of literature. And the third quality of literature, emotional appeal. Literature touches the human heart. It awakens emotions. It makes us laugh, cry, think, fear, hope, and love. A scientific answer may satisfy the brain, but literature touches both the brain and the heart. Example, when we read Dickens, we feel sympathy for poor children. When we read King Lear, we feel sorrow for human blindness and suffering. When we read Kamala Das, we feel the pain of emotional loneliness and identity crisis. A student may be depressed after failure in exams. Then she reads a poem about struggle and survival. Suddenly, she gets strength. That is literature working emotionally. Literature does not only inform us, it transforms us through feelings. One of the greatest qualities of literature is universality. This means true literature speaks to all people of all times. Its emotions and truth are not limited to one place, one period, one class, or one community. For example, Shakespeare lived centuries ago, but his characters still feel modern because jealousy, ambition, love, guilt, and confusion are still part of human life. Jane Austen wrote long ago, but misunderstanding in love and family pressure still exists today. A mother's love in an old poem, a young person's confusion in a modern novel, a worker's pain in a social drama. All these are universal experiences. That is why great literature never becomes old. This is very beautiful and a deeper quality. that is suggestiveness. Suggestiveness means literature does not always say everything directly. Sometimes it hints, suggests, and opens deeper meaning. Literature respects the intelligence and imagination of the reader. It allows us to think beyond the surface. For example, in Robert Frost, The Road Not Taken, the poem is not only about two roads in a forest. It suggests life choices, decisions, regret, individuality, and destiny. In Emily Dickinson, simple lines often carry deep meaning about death, immortality, isolation, and the soul. Suppose a mother tells her daughter, "Be careful whom you trust." That is direct advice. But if she tells a story of a flower damaged by careless hands, that story suggests a deeper lesson. That is the power of suggestiveness. Literature often works like this. It says in our mind because it is not fully closed. It continues to speak even after we finish reading. Another quality of literature is sincerity or truthfulness. True literature comes from genuine feeling. It is not fake. It is not artificial. It is not written only for profit or show. A great writer writes from deep experience, deep observation, or deep sympathy. Example, Kamala Das is powerful because she is honest. She writes about emotions without hiding behind false politeness. Gandhi's My experience with the truth is respected because it is sincere. When somebody shapes pain honestly, we listen. When somebody pretends, we feel distance. Literature also works like this. Sincere writing reaches the heart. Permanence is another very important quality. Permanence means true literature lives for a long time. It survives generations. It remains fresh, meaningful, and valuable across centuries. Many books are popular for a few years and disappear, but great literature remains. For example, Shakespeare, Milton, Wordsworth, Austen, Dickens, these writers are still read because their works contain permanent human truths. Fashion changes, trends change, memes change, social media topics change in a day, but great literature continues. Why? Because human emotions do not change so quickly. Loss, love, ambition, sorrow, hope, betrayal, morality, these remains. So permanence is the proof of literary greatness. Next one, intellectual values. Literature is not touches emotions. It is also stimulates thoughts. It raises questions. It deepens understanding. It helps us think critically about life, society, morality, and the self. Example, Hamlet makes us think about action and delay. Macbeth makes us think about ambition and guilt. 1984 makes us think about power and control. A student who reads literature begins to ask deeper question. Why do people make wrong choice? Why is society unjust? What is freedom? What is identity? What is happiness? That thinking power is developed through literature. Literature is not moral sincere in a dry way, but it often gives moral insight. It broadens consciousness. It helps us understand good and evil, strength and weakness, selfishness and sacrifice. For example, in King Lear, we see the tragedy of pride and blindness. In A Tale of Two Cities, we see sacrifice and redemption. In many people, we see humility, patience, hope, and faith. A selfish person may change after reading a story or sacrifice. A proud person may become humble after seeing a tragic hero destroyed by pride. That is why literature enriches moral imagination.